Welcome, everybody, to the Powerhouse Podcast. I am Coach Kendra, and today we have Coach Madelyn and our admin queen, Jessica. We are so excited to be coming to you guys today. Coach Megan is on maternity leave. So today you get a extra special episode of behind the scenes at Powerhouse Pageantry, and you get to hear how we make everything work, how we give you guys the best results, the best transformation that you can possibly have in your pageant prep and the rest of your life. So hopefully you're going to enjoy, some behind the curtain peek at the world of Powerhouse today. Let's start off with some introductions. Why don't you guys tell us who you are, what you do at Powerhouse, and kind of what's your background in pageantry? So Jessica, why don't you go ahead and go first?
Hi everyone, I'm Jessica Steele. I'm the administrative assistant for Powerhouse Pageantry, or the administrative queen as Coach Kendra likes to call me. And I have competed in pageants for a couple years before I joined the team. I competed in Miss Tennessee USA, and I competed in the National Elite Miss System, where I was the National Elite Miss Tennessee 2021. And I automatically felt drawn to pageants just because I loved the community. I loved the causes that people were working for. And I felt just so in my element being on stage, and I just loved sharing my purpose with everyone else. I am so excited to be a part of the Powerhouse team. They are just so incredible, and everything that we do with our clients is the missing part of my life after I stopped competing in pageants, that I'm still able to be a part of the pageant world and assisting all of you. I am their right hand for everything that they need. I am there for our clients in Slack. If you are a potential new client who is reaching out an email, you probably get an email back from me telling you, this is what you need to do. These are the next steps so you can be a part of our community. And I'm just so grateful to be here.
Wow. How do I follow that introduction? I am Coach Madelyn. I handle all things marketing and sales here at Powerhouse Pageantry. If you've ever gotten a DM from us lately, you're talking to me. So I love that. I love that I'm able to keep up these relationships with you guys and learn so much about the pageants that you're competing in, your goals, and also where you want to go in the future, because not only does Powerhouse Pageantry prepare you for all things in pageantry, but we also prepare you for life. I actually got into pageants around the year 2018. I've competed in the Miss America organization as well as the Volunteer America organization. I was Miss Indiana Volunteer in 2022, and I was top 10 at Volunteer America. So I love learning about all the systems you guys are competing in, because it definitely takes me back.
And I am Kendra. I actually am the black sheep of Powerhouse because I have zero pageant experience. It was amazing to me, that Megan still wanted to bring me on board. But 2 years ago when I started working with her, it was just a great fit of skill set and mindset and alignment of values. And so she took a chance on me, and I have just been, thriving and growing ever since in my genius zone. I absolutely love being able to be kind of the counterpart to Megan's vision. I am the director of operations. So I basically connect all the dots. I make all the pieces happen. I am the how behind her why. And so I love getting to work with Coach Madelyn and Jessica and all of our other coaches, and just really be that support system to give everybody structure and organization and make sure that everybody is equipped with what they need. That is really like one of my biggest callings in life, I feel like, is I am thriving when I am supporting other people. And so whether it's our team or whether it's our clients, I just love to pour into you guys, to let my joy and light and abundance overflow into you guys and see everybody win. So that's what I do. Even though I don't have pageant experience, I do have experience growing up as a dancer here in Omaha, Nebraska. And so I grew up on stage. I also am a very creative, artsy person. I did painting, singing, dancing, all the creative brain stuff. And I also did speech and debate. So I have a little bit of background in public speaking. I'm also a certified life coach. I have been through divorce and now remarried to an amazing man, and I have a 6-year-old son. So I just absolutely love the life that I've been given and that I've built, and love to support you guys in all of life. And that's something that I think is really unique coming from a non-pageant background. When I started working with Megan, I'll just share with you guys, is that I think it is so cool probably the stereotypical like view of pageantry when you know nothing about it is that it's very superficial, right? Like that when I started working with Megan, that's what everybody said. They were like, why are you working with a pageant coach? And I'm sure you all are very familiar with that like stereotype. And it has been so cool. So cool for me to step into this world in this industry and see how empowering it is and how transformational it is to really bring up leaders in the world where we get to equip you guys with, and a lot of you already come to us with phenomenal platforms and CSIs and personalities and skill sets. And that's what I love to see is, how you really become equipped as a leader, because how you show up on stage in a pageant, a lot of what we do in our coaching is helping you become the person that you need to be to win. What you do on stage is a reflection of who you are as a person and who you are in your everyday life. I don't think that we would ever encourage like putting on a fake mask in competition of, there are certain roles that sometimes we play in our life. We're never one-dimensional people. We're very nuanced, and there's such beauty in that. And at the same time, you have to show up as who you are. And that's what we see in the winners is full congruency and alignment and integrity. So thank you for letting me spew on that soapbox. It has just been the joy and delight of my last 2 years to get to see that process for so many of our clients. So let me turn it back over to Jessica and Maddie. Why did you guys want to come work for Powerhouse in the first place? What attracted you to Coach Megan and Powerhouse Pageantry?
I'll actually start with that one, if that's okay.
Take it away.
Yeah, so I had a great friend of mine who I believe it was maybe my first year of competition in the Miss America organization. And she was competing. She actually won Miss Indiana and later revealed that she had been coached by Coach Megan. And I was always just curious. I was like, so what makes Coach Megan different from anybody else? And she told me about this total transformation that she had for her mindset, and that she didn't realize that like that was the thing that was really holding her back from winning in the past. Because no matter how much you work on your walking, no matter how much you work on your interview, if you really don't get to the root and not the fruit of the problem, then you're really never going to win your pageant. So I became really curious. I kind of started like stalking Coach Megan in a sense, and I was like her biggest fan for the longest time. And social media was like popping off for Coach Megan, and I noticed that something came through, and I saw like a little job posting for her. So I sent her a DM and I was like praying. I was like, God, like, please, if this is aligned, please have like this connection happen for me and Coach Megan. And it did. And a conversation got started. So that's kind of how I came to know about her. And I really was her biggest fan, and she didn't even know it.
I absolutely love that. And I didn't know that about you. That's so cool. Well, for me, it's pretty similar because I actually came in contact with Coach Megan through a mutual friend we both had. And she was one of the women who competed in Miss USA with Coach Megan. And I had come to her and I was like, I really need an interview coach. I want to compete and do well in these next two pageants. I know this is probably my last year of pageantry because I want to get married soon and start a family. And I really just need some guidance, especially when it comes to interview questions that are the uncomfortable ones, the ones that require you to really be in touch with your emotions and bring that out to the judges. I said, I feel like I'm not there yet, and I really, really want to take my interview to the next level. And she said, Coach Megan produces results. She has an amazing business. She's built up a business from scratch at a really young age. She was like, she will put you where you need to be. So I reached out to Coach Megan on a whim, and I was like, hi, I'm, competing in Miss Tennessee USA. I know there's not a lot of time. It's about to be pageant time, but what's the likelihood of you taking me on? And she found out that my goals aligned with what her vision is for all the women she takes on. And she did a few coaching sessions with me. And that was even before Pageant Academy is what it is today. And I absolutely loved it. I kept in contact with her after I stopped pageantry. I would say, as someone who got a degree in corporate communications, an interview is such a strong part of my life. I love public speaking. She is the reason that I interview how I do today. And when I saw the ad saying that Powerhouse Pageantry was looking for an administrative assistant, it 100% felt like it was a sign from God, because I was a stay-at-home mom. I absolutely love being a stay-at-home mom, but my husband owns his own business, and I was starting to get worried that I'd have to go back to work, and it just broke my heart to think that I'd have to put my child in daycare. So when I saw that, I was like, this is a part-time administrative assistant position for something that I could use all of my skills in. It's something that I would get to work with women who were making a difference in the world. And that was immediately for me, like, this is what I'm meant to do. But I almost chickened out. I almost didn't apply, which is something that I don't think y'all even know, because I got scared that, I'm busy, I'm a mom, like, what if they don't want to take that chance on me? I haven't been in pageants for a little while. And I don't know, that was also silly. That is something that I know we even work with women who are competing in pageants, that they are like, hey, I'm scared of this, but we need to confront those fears. And I did. My husband, in fact, encouraged me. He's like, look, Coach Megan's about to have a baby. You're working with moms. You need to take the chance. This is a position that's meant for you. And I applied, and I am so, so, so grateful that y'all took me onto the team, because this has been truly life-changing. I get to work with women who are accomplishing their goals, changing the world around them. And not only am I there supporting all of you, I am there with my daughter as she's growing up, and I don't have to miss a single milestone of her life. And I get to be both the amazing employee and the amazing mom that I've always dreamed of being.
Yes, so good. I love that. Yeah, that was a big thing for me as well when I started with Powerhouse too, was I had previously been working as a virtual assistant. So just picking up my own clients and projects here and there, really, really entrepreneurial, like business basics. If anybody's interested in the entrepreneurial world, like you figure out what your skills are, you find somebody that has a need that you can fill, and you charge money for it. Like that is the basics of entrepreneurship and starting out with a business. And I know a lot of people that follow us, and a lot of the pageant women, I think, might have a little entrepreneurial streak in them. So that probably resonates for a lot of people. So let me get back to our questions here. So both Coach Madelyn and Jessica are in Slack channels with our clients who have access to Slack in the Pageant Academy. That is our highest tier of support with coaching, and where we really see the most transformation in our clients. So what have you guys seen kind of overall as a trend of the people? I mean, obviously we love to help everybody, and I would not say that there's a single person that has walked away unchanged in some way, shape, or form. But for the clients that we work with who really have the biggest transformation, whether that's a win or just complete mindset overhaul, what would you say is the common denominator among those clients that you really see the most change and the most success?
I would say that the biggest thing I see is that they show up. They are investing in themselves, and they are here for them, and knowing that they're chasing their goals, and they let us in. That's the biggest thing. We can't help you if you aren't willing to share what's going on in your life, whether it's pageant related, personal related. If you just need support in any way, we're there for you. We're not just, like Coach Kendra said, we're not just there to be your pageant coach, but also your life coach, and helping you in all of those many changes that you're going through in your life. So I would say the people that really come away the most change are the ones that are communicating in Slack with us at least a couple times a week. They're letting us know, hey, here's a little win for me. Here's something that I'm not proud of. I need help with this. I've overcome this hard thing, and I still am, having feelings from that. I need to grow. And if you have that growth mindset, and you're willing to let us take you where you are and work with you to get to where you want to be, obviously we can't do the work for you. You have to do the work. But if you let us be there and guiding you along the process and telling us what you need help with, then we will be there for you every single step of the way.
I love that you mentioned the growth mindset, because something I find that about so many pageant competitors is we put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect human beings, but we wouldn't be in this business if you were a perfect human being. We would have nothing to offer you, right? So it's really about showing up, realizing that you have changes that need to be made in the way that you are preparing for your pageant, and being willing and being open to draw that line in the sand and stop going around that mountain over and over and over again, and continuing to come, in top 10 or top 5, and like not understanding why you're going around this hamster wheel over and over, but really understanding that it does take that realization, first of all, that I'm not a perfect human, but I am willing and open to have other people lend their expertise. And now, since Coach Megan is on maternity leave, she was an amazing coach and had so many brains of her own. And I feel like we have so many specialized coaches now that are so capable of taking over those different pieces that make up the pageant pie. And so you will have access to so many people who can really help you hone in on everything from interview to mindset to social media to fashion, everything in between that you could ever desire as a title holder. All you have to do is show up and be ready and willing to put in the work. But we won't do that work for you. It really does start with you.
100%. And I really value Coach Madelyn's perspective on that too, because she's in the DMs talking with you guys when you're determining whether this is the right fit for you or not. And so you get to see probably a lot of the conversations of people from all points in their journey. Of maybe some people don't have the belief in themselves yet. Maybe some people just don't know if they can. They don't know if this is something that will actually get them the results that they want.
I want to hop on that because I had a recent conversation with someone in the DMs that took them to a call, and she got through everything and she was so excited to join us. And at the end, I could just tell that there was something that she was hesitating about. And so I kind of dug in, just asked her some questions. And she said, I really don't feel like I'm worthy enough to be amongst a cohort of people who have maybe won other state pageants or won national titles. And in that moment, I tried to completely destroy that limiting belief for her, because that's what that is. It's a limiting belief that is holding you back over and over again from getting to the goal that you want. Who cares about other people? Who cares if such and such won something, if they look a different way from you? You are a unique individual, and that is what you bring to the table as a title holder and something that they want to hear in an interview. Be completely yourself too. That's what our title holders that we work with do, our clients. They're completely and unapologetically themselves, and they show up every single day as such, as imperfect human beings, and we love to see it. So never let something like that hold you back, because we want to work with you and you are definitely worthy. You just have to remind yourself and believe in that on your own.
Absolutely. And to bring it back to what Jessica said too, I think that's probably the overall common denominator that I've seen with people that really have the most success in our program is the action takers, right? I know Coach Megan says that all the time, that you have to take action to build the confidence in yourself, to build that certainty that comes from consistency over time. And I've had to learn that lesson in my own life too, that so often we are creatures of habit and we just keep doing the same things, hoping that it'll get better just inherently because of time. And so, if you guys are competing and consistently placing top 10, top 5, but you're not winning and you're not sure why, well, that's, are you actually examining why? Or are you just hoping that next time's going to get better because that's the trajectory that you think you have, just because of time, that you will just progress over time? And so that's what I love to see for people that have the growth mindset is, are you taking the action that you need to get where you want to go? Because so often this is what I see in my life coaching experience too, is that our default, I think, for most people is a reactive lifestyle. Depending on how you were raised, that plays a big part in it as well, of what your conditions were that you grew up in, what you were taught as a child can easily lead to a reactive personality where you're constantly just reacting to everything around you, and where you end up in life is where you end up because you let it happen. And to take this a faith direction too, I see a lot of people do this in their belief with God, that, they just believe, well, God's in control and whatever happens, happens. I don't actually have control over anything. And while, yes, I think that's 100% true, God is in control, I also think we discount our own ability. That is one of the big messages I love to preach in life, because I had to learn the hard way that if you just let life happen to you, you're not going to end up where you want. You have to take responsibility for your actions. And while there are circumstances sometimes that we can't control, we are always in control of our reactions to them. And I believe that you are equipped with more than you even realize to take action, and probably tuning into your emotions of hey, what feels a little bit scary? That's probably where you need to explore. like, ooh, this might be the reason, like, this might be the area that I need to grow in, because growth does not happen in your comfort zone, right? Can I get an amen? I am like the Enneagram 9 queen of comfort zone. I love for
And
everything to feel peaceful and comfy.
And I'm
And that's not how we grow.
like the total risk taker. I'm like, oh, who cares? And that can be like detrimental sometimes.
And
Right.
I'm
It
the
looks a little
loyalist,
different for
so
everybody.
that works for my job too because I am always there for you. Like that is my heart. I am always there for you. And hopping off of what Coach Kendra said too, the best clients we have are not always ones that were like top 5 the year before and they're coming to us with, look, I need to move up like 4 positions. Like I've got to get the crown. We have new client competitors who are like, I want this, and I've never done a pageant before. I know my walk's bad. I know my interview's bad. I know there's a lot of things that need improvement, but I'm willing to fight for what I want. And those people, we see just so much growth because comparison really is the theft of joy. And if you are always sitting there just thinking about, oh, but this person I'm competing against has been first runner up for 4 years. Okay, well, maybe there's a reason that they haven't won the crown yet. But what are you able to do with your circumstances that's able to best equip you to be the best, most authentic version of yourself?
And they say energy flows where attention goes. And if you put your attention on others, that's where your energy is going to flow. If you put it into yourself, well, then you can only be successful and it's only up from there. So,
Yes. Preach. We're just going off. I love it. So that actually makes me want to ask, I don't know, kind of a delicate question. I have found something interesting this year. Now having worked with Megan for 2 kind of full pageant years, I feel like this year there was a lot more of our clients having negative experiences competing. Not that they didn't grow, like they did the work. These clients just had so much growth. They did the best they absolutely could. They were their best selves. They competed well. They had a phenomenal mindset. And yet they still had a very negative experience because of their pageant system. Maybe their board, maybe their competitors. They felt like things were maybe not as objective as they should have been. So, what are you guys kind of seeing? Do you think that's a trend right now? Or what advice would you give to competitors that maybe are really struggling with the pageant industry as a whole right now because of that subjectivity?
I think we live in a very heated climate right now where, everyone is so opinionated about everything. And I would say if you had a really bad pageant experience, I would encourage you to try a different system. I competed in a couple different systems and I had my preferences about different ones. And I would go where you feel comfortable being able to be your authentic self the best. And I would once again say, like what we said earlier, if you are someone who's competing in a pageant system that asks political questions or asks something that is more controversial in the world we live in, I would say to just always remember to stay true to who you are. Because people have asked me even at group mocks before, they were like, hey, I'm really scared about this question. Like, what if the judge doesn't agree with me politically? You can't change what that judge thinks. And I pray and hope that your judges are unbiased in whichever way you decide to answer that question. But I would say answer it based off of your values and be your authentic self. And if you feel for whatever reason that pageant system is not aligning with your values and you feel like you have to change you at the core of your being to fit into that system, switch, because not all pageants are bad. And if you had a bad situation in that state, in that system, then it's time to move on because you don't want to hinder your growth. And like we said, not everyone's having a bad experience, but there really are those experiences now. And I've even had a few too, where I have to examine, first of all, okay, was this actually my fault? Did I do something that prevented me from placing where I needed to? Did I not put in the work? Yes, I didn't practice my walk enough. My walk, I looked at the videos, it wasn't good. But if you have maximized all your options and said, I really did show up at the best version of myself and I still, I'm just mind blown. I don't know. And we're mind blown. We don't know what happened. Then I think we would all encourage you to try something else and don't just quit pageantry, because if you love it, if you love competing, if you love your platform, if you love just being the best version of yourself and all of the good things of you that pageantry brings out, don't let one bad experience stop you from competing for your dreams.
Yeah, I'm not one to sugarcoat it. And I think that this is a trend that's been going on since the beginning of pageantry, because the truth is we're all adults here and you have to know and be realistic about the sport that you're getting yourself into. We're not playing basketball here. It's not a point system that is objective based on how many goals you get, etc. This is really something that if you were to put yourself in the judge's position, they receive, several binders with everyone's bios, and there's really subjective criteria to which they are choosing this title holder. And there is so much pressure on the judges, like bless them, because I've been in that position and it is the hardest thing. You truly can't choose. It is so difficult. But at the end of the day, they really only see, 9 minutes and 30 seconds of you in person of your life. How in the world are you going to be able to tell your true story to them? You have your bullet points, you have your mission. That's why we have our heroine story in in Pageant Academy. That's why we help you build those narratives for yourself. But also remind yourself, they haven't been standing next to you like Jesus has for your entire life. They don't know the entirety of the person that you are. That's why you have to remain true to yourself, as Jessica said, because you can't lose that spark. And the reality is, so many of the women who end up winning and being title holders have competed over and over and over again. They've competed in multiple systems. They're maybe doing it for their fourth, fifth, sixth time. Not that that's recommended, and we definitely want to be able to push you in order so that you don't have to spend all that money and all those years trying to do that. But realistically, it is so subjective, and it just might not be your timing. And you have to remind yourself of that Esther 4:14, that you were created for such a time as this. Might not be your year right now, because maybe that's your time to work on your inner self. It's your time to work on your mindset. It's your time to sit with yourself and really reevaluate your goals and work on the human that you are in your everyday life. Please don't forget who you are in the everyday. This isn't just about pageants. This is about developing you as a human for the entirety of your life. And honestly, I think that's why you should be competing anyway, because pageants are an excellent way to become a better human, better in your career, and better for the other people around you, because you'll learn so much more about yourself. So don't let it discourage you, because this is a trend that's been going on since the beginning of time. And I don't see it changing, honestly.
100%. And I firmly agree with you that don't let a loss define your worth, because, maybe you didn't win the crown, but what did you win? Did you spend all of this time working on your mental health? Did you spend all this time working on your fitness? Did you spend all this time working on your confidence? All of those things are wins, even if you don't win the crown. Those are things you can walk away and say, look, it wasn't my year. Maybe there are still a lot of things I need to improve on. Maybe I feel like I did show my best self, and the judge didn't get to fully see that because, like you said, they're only with you for very few minutes. But what did I win that makes me know, look, I grew as a person, and this will affect me for the rest of my life in a positive way.
So good. So good, which is a perfect transition actually to the next question that I want to ask you guys, especially as we are all women in business and with an entrepreneurial streak. So how did pageants for you guys, and I just have other life experience, it's not pageants, but how did pageantry really prepare you for life after the pageants? How do you think it helped and changed you? And what was the biggest lesson that you had to learn?
I can truthfully say that professionally, I would not have been in the place where I've been. I wouldn't have had a leg up in the luxury fashion industry, probably one of the most competitive industries that you can possibly make it in, if it weren't for pageants. And I say that because I can walk into any interview room, it doesn't matter where, as long as I get my paperwork through to them, I ace an interview. And it's from the experience, again, going back to our last question, pageants help you learn about yourself so much from the inside out that I'm so congruent. I never have to question who I am. I never have to question how I'm going to show up for an organization or how my mission and values align with them. And it really has helped me kind of create, we talk about the core interview frameworks, things like that, reminding myself of my core frameworks that I think, other people in the industry don't necessarily have that experience in. And they're constantly asking questions like, how are you so comfortable speaking with other people, speaking with executives? It really is because of that congruency that you gain from that. And I think that's why Pageant Academy is just such an amazing platform for you guys to have a hand in, because we do teach you all of those things that can take you from pageants to life. And the hardest lesson I think that I've had to learn from pageants is, life isn't all about you. And you're not always going to be the winner. You're not always going to be the center of attention. And you might think that you have everything that it takes to win. And I'm sure you definitely do, but it's about developing yourself sometimes. And this works for even business. You develop yourself and your mission and your values and goals to align with the organization that you are competing for, right? If I show up and my mission and values and goals are very aligned with the USA system, but I'm competing for Miss America, there might be some clash there because I'm not understanding the congruency with how my messaging is relating to the system as a whole. And that will help you in business and life, because you really do need to know the organization that you want to get hired by inside and out and learn about everyone at the company. So that's something that pageants definitely prepare you for.
Absolutely. And I would say, as a co-business owner to my husband's business, pageants have really guided me in the role that I play for helping him, but also in life. Because pageants taught me that you will chase your dreams if they are important enough to you, you will work for them, and you won't let anyone stand in your way because you're responsible for your dreams. And that is something that's really hard, especially being young newlyweds and then having a baby and being business owners and me being a stay-at-home mom. That is something that a lot of people were like, why you're going to be a stay-at-home mom? Why are you not taking like a W-2 job, using your degree, doing this, doing that? Okay, my degree is corporate communication. That can be used in everything. It was used in pageantry. It's used in running my husband's business. And pageantry taught me that it might be hard now. You might have to make sacrifices. You might not be able to eat out 25 times a week. You might not be able to go on all of these big trips. You might not be able to do this or that right now, but everything is temporary. And what is the most important part to you? When I was competing in pageantry, the most important part was my self-development. And I think that the work I did on myself when I was competing prepared me for life after pageantry. Because now I could say, look, we did it. We're still doing it. And we have a long way to go, a long way to grow the business, a long way to get to where we know our potential lies, but we are not going to stop short of doing that, because the only thing that we will regret is quitting. Like Coach Kendra said, being a virtual administrative assistant is just literally the most amazing gift, because I get to excel and interview and helping with the coaches and anything they need around the clock, but I also get to show up for myself, my family, and for all of you. And honestly, our clients have become a part of my family as well. It's something that I didn't even 100% know I needed until I joined the team. But this also gave me camaraderie and connections to people that are doing amazing things. And I feel like me being able to play even just the smallest role in your lives and helping you get to your goals, it just makes me so proud. I'm literally the proud mom that is just so proud of all of your wins and all of your successes. And I hope you know that we're all in your corner and here for you every step of the way.
Yes, I love it.
One thing that you said that stood out to me, and it wasn't a direct word, but you spoke to discipline. And that's something that's so missing in our society right now, because we live in a world that is so ridden by instant gratification that people don't know how to discipline their minds, their bodies, their schedules. All of it is just up in the air and up in the wind. And that's something that pageantry really does do for you, because you have to maintain your fitness. You have to maintain your schedule. You're probably a student or you're working a 9 to 5, and then you have to work on prep with your coaches. You need to do mock interviews. You need to think about your wardrobe, practice your talent. I mean, at the end of the day, we all have the same 24 hours. And that's why pageants are so amazing, because they do create that discipline for you in mind, body, and spirit. And it gives you thick skin. I'm not the person that I don't believe in participation trophies. Everybody is different, but I don't think pageantry does either, because at the end of the day, there's only one woman who leaves that stage with the crown, and it will teach you how to be disciplined, how to gain that thick skin in your life. So if you are definitely looking for a mental glow up and you kind of want to create that discipline for yourself, I would definitely suggest trying pageantry, especially trying for the first time without a coach, because you will really see without coaching the difference that your mentality will have once you do work with someone that can develop you in your mindset and really gaining kind of like that mental callousing that you need to compete.
100%. I was gonna say, Jessica, that exactly. I was like, gosh, I was just thinking about the grit. And actually, we had Megan's sister, Allie, probably many of you have heard from the podcast in years past. She came in as a special guest for our Powerhouse Club call, and that's what she talked about was the grit that's required to really have that tough mindset in pageantry. And I know in my experience growing up in dance and not just like studio dance, this was like classical ballet where you're at the studio, like the school was under the local regional company. And I think I was too young at the time to really develop that congruency of identity of like being able to show up in a non-competitive way. Like it was very much like constantly trying to please the director. And I know I can imagine that with pageantry, it would be easy to get stuck in that mindset of comparison with everybody else and constantly trying to please the judges when we've already talked about like at the end of the day, it is subjective. And knowing what I know now, I almost wish that like I had that pageantry experience, and maybe someday I will. Megan's trying to convince me to do a Mrs. Pageant one day. But
We can compete
yeah,
together.
yes. But to have that like that grit and that mental toughness that is required of, yeah, knowing you're in a competition, you're here to play the game, you're here to reach your goals, and at the same time, like anybody else's opinion of you doesn't make a difference on your identity and your worth. Yeah, as I mentioned, having to go through divorce, try to go through that in life and not worry about what people think of you. And I know that everybody has their own version of that, you know, things that you maybe aren't proud of or things that you feel judged for, no matter what it is. And I really see, you know, hearing through your guys' stories and through our client stories of just how strong your mindset can become when you do the mindset work with us. You build that strong foundation to compete not only physically but mentally. And that's just so cool to me to see that mental development.
And I would say that I forgot to mention that the hardest lesson I learned in pageantry is that one mistake doesn't define you.
Hmm.
And you can train constantly for one moment. And if something doesn't go 100% the way you practice it, if you make a mistake on stage, that does not make you walk away a failure. And that is something that honestly, I wish I would have competed in pageants a lot sooner. I wish I would have competed as a teen. They weren't really big where I was living, and I just didn't really know about them. I was a professional musician. I competed all over the country on clarinet and honor bands. That was my sport. That is what I did. And I realized after pageantry that I did have a really strong proving energy. I knew I was good because I put in the work, I had done the time, but every single audition I would compete. If I made like even the slightest mistake that probably didn't really even affect my score, I would walk away saying, I screwed up. I have to hold my head in shame. And it took a really long time to overcome that. I mean, I remember one audition I did that I didn't even get where I was supposed to. From all of my years in the past, I was expected by everyone at my school to hit a certain place. And I remember telling my parents I would have to walk around with my head down and just like avoid contact with literally everyone for like a week because I couldn't face them. And pageantry has taught me that, look, if you slip on stage, if you fumble your words in an interview, that does not define who you are. That does not take away all of that practice. It just was one moment. And you can't let that proving energy define you, because if you were trying to use that proving energy, I've got to prove to them, I've got to prove this, you're going to seem fake, you're going to seem inauthentic, and it's going to hurt you more than anything else. If you have done the prep, then automatically you should feel more of a sense of, look, this is who I am, this is what I'm presenting to you, take it or leave it. And you know what? If we don't mesh, if you don't like everything I'm saying, that doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It's just not my day. It's not my system. It's not where I'm meant to be at this point in my life, but that's okay because I'm not a failure. I've gained something in the process.
So good. Oh my gosh, I feel like we could talk for hours.
We literally
So
could.
good. Long podcast.
Hey, it's great. I love it. Maybe we'll throw in one kind of fun, lighter question if we want to use it. So last question for you guys. Any like fun favorite pageant memories? Maybe maybe an embarrassing moment, or maybe just something that you'll remember and laugh about forever.
In some systems, they have like all the way from like the minis all the way up to the misses. And you would think that they'd have age appropriate dresses for each category, but they don't. Like there was literally, we were all wearing the same dress.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to say that it's like, it wasn't inappropriate, but okay, you see these little kids in these cupcake dresses looking so cute and stuff like that. I put on this dress and my roommate, one of my good friends, looked at me and she was like, Jess, she was like, please don't tell me you'll ever wear this out in public. Like, how fast can we list this on Marketplace?
Oh
It was
God.
so bad. Like, I looked like a 5-year-old and I already look young. And I was just in a little cupcake dress and it was, I don't know, it was bad.
Oh, that's rough.
That's funny. So many people can relate. Favorite memory. I remember we were going like, so we were so tired at one point, like after our pageant, that it was, we were doing like an onstage dress rehearsal or something, and we were all getting ready. My friend and I like came out in our robes, and you know the little thing that you like tie on your robes. We were like going so nuts that we were all like having like a fight with like the thing with our robes like on stage, and like the directors were all watching us, and we're like, sorry, we've literally had like 3 hours of sleep and we're not gonna get any more.
Oh man. A fun fact actually that all four of us at Powerhouse sing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like
that
we're
is a
all
fun
singers.
fact. And we like didn't know that. We found out
We
in
did
some
not.
crazy way. So book
Yep, that was
us for all
accidental.
of your singing needs.
A quartet.
Perform at your state and national talents as the Powerhouse team.
Wearing our matching like little Pitch Perfect like style suits.
We're all gonna have the same style though, like most pageant systems do for all of the opening numbers.
Yes.
Oh my
You're
gosh,
gonna
I
be an
love Pitch
appropriate
Perfect.
length though.
Okay,
Yeah.
appropriate length dress. That is all that I can hope for. So there's no bloopers on stage, guys. We won't be flashing any.
Oh man. Oh man. Too funny. Okay. Well, with that, I am going to wrap us up today. Hope you guys enjoyed our banter. Let us know what your favorite part was, what you're relating to, what your crazy pageant stories are in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. And as always, you can DM Powerhouse Pageantry and talk to Coach Madelyn about if you are a good fit for Powerhouse and if that is your next best step. We would love to help you achieve your goals in pageants and in life. And with that, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.